another video from Easy Electric series, and today we will learn how we could use the constraints in two-dimensional sketch in Fusion 360. So as you see here, if I actually come back again to Fusion 360 and I make the or create the sketch as usual on the YZ axis. So you will actually see here in the top part the constraints. So in our previous video we talked about the fully constrained. We learned fully constrained design is a design that its size and position is completely defined. If you didn't watch previous video, the link is in the top of the screen. Please click on that. So today somehow we want to see the items that we have here in the constraint section, which is somehow it's help us to have uh, more or better or most easier way to design the fully constrained drawing. So if you actually click on this small arrow, you see there is a lot of item here. So in this video, I'm going to cover most of them. So the most of them, and especially the those items which is are very useful and you actually able to use to those item and make much better design. So let's to actually start from the coincident and have one example and see how we could use these coincident items which is in the constraint section and how you could use that feature. So for doing that, I'm going to draw a circle. Definitely is the center base. I click here. I actually expand that for, I don't know, maybe diameter, let's to say 60 millimeter inter. So as you could see here, it is full constraint because of these lock that you see. Also, its color is black. So and now I'm going to actually select all these area and try to move that around. So if I actually select the area and click on the move, it's give me some option even if I want to move around and say okay, it is going to be fail. So the reason is you somehow your my actually drawing is fully constrained and it is locked, and even if you want you actually not able to move that. So if you comes to the center, you see these small icon here, which this is somehow tells what's the type of the constraint that you have here. Just remember the sample that you have here and come back here and find that sample. It is look like the coincident. Somehow you coincident the center of this circle to exactly the origin. That's what it somehow it's locked there. So if you want to move that, definitely you should get rid of these constraint. You could actually click on these sample, which is as you see here, it is for a coincident. So I'm click on these to just yeah, I'm click on that. It change the color to blue. Then I say right click and I say delete. So whenever I delete, see it is actually back to the not fully constrained. The color change the blue, and also here the locked sample is gone. Now, if you select everything, right click and you say move, so you could actually easily able to move to anywhere that you want because right now it is not actually constrained. So that's actually shows one of these features. So now if I go somehow, let I actually move this a little up and let to see how we could make that again fully constrained based off these items that we have. So again, I want to show how you could use these coincident. So let's to define two line. The one comes here. Let's to say 50 millimeter enter. So have another line here in the same maybe 60. And actually let's to do one thing else. I actually right click, say escape, escapes. Let's to have the other line from this point that we already have and put the line. One is here and the other one here around 60 millimeter and enter. So as you could see here, again, whenever you add few more drawing, you see these actually the constraint and do they have a different shape, right? So see this one back here, what it says. It says you have a constraint. It is find that sample which is the horizon vertical. So it says this is horizontal to axis. What is this says? This actually is the sample. It says it is perpendicular to these y-axis that you have. So here is the same thing. You see, this is actually, you see these constraint again. That's the other info it's provide to you. So let I do one more thing. Let I just go back and redo this. So let I comes to go to the other side because I don't want to make that very uh, busy over there. So let you put these here. This line is fully constrained. So then click on this and somehow the next line comes to some let us say goes somewhere actually here and we give the exactly 50 millimeters. So let us say 50 and say enter. So as you could see the both lines constraint and now I want to somehow make this constraint again. So as you could see the problem is not the size, is a position. If you come here and say coincident and I want to coincident this point to this point, which I will define that as you could see, boom. So you have this circle, it is back to this point, is somehow I coincident that 2 point, it's actually the both comes to the same point and now as you could see change to the lock and it is still black, which tells us our design is fully constrained. So that actually one way you could use these coincidence that we have. So let's to talk about these horizontal, vertical, and see how we could use that two items that you have. Let I actually go back again and somehow get rid of everything. So let to actually have the example for these horizontal and vertical and start to having the rectangle. Let I have the center rectangle, click here, so then go, let to see, let to do 90 tab 40 and enter. So it is fully constrained this rectangle that you see. So as you could see for the first one, again you have these constraints. So again take a look to the sample and check the list. So what this tells to you, if you comes here, it says it is a horizontal vertical. It says this is actually is a constraint. It is horizontal line. So this actually see what it means. It means actually the equal. So these two is equal and also these two is equal. That's what you see this sample actually tells. This is a inside the constraint. So let to do one thing. So again, if we do the same thing that we did before, and if I select all of them and say move, because it is fully constrained, even let to see what's happened. So let I actually say select all and try to move. Even you try, you definitely, let I try one more thing. Maybe it's more obvious. Move here, yeah, see, I right click, choose a move, I'm moving that, say okay, it's not moving because it is fully constrained and it's not going nowhere. So you could actually get rid of the constraint. We say delete this one. This is actually, check this one, this T shape is perpendicular. Let I get rid of this and say delete. So maybe have more. I just going to get rid of few of them and see if I could move them around. So let I just get rid of maybe this one and say delete. So then see if I could, yeah, I could move that. So I get rid of the few constraint, which let me to move and make changes. I'm actually make like this. So now I want to show you few more constraint item that you have here. So if you comes to the horizontal vertical, so now you just put on the horizontal vertical and click this, it's going to be to vertical, right? So if then again I back here, you could use more features if you have a same situation. So this times let to say parallel. So let to actually use this one, the parallel. So whenever you click, somehow it's give you a comment. You need to select the object. I want to this be parallel with this. So see, it's actually make those actually parallel. So again, if I back to the origin one, we could actually try the perpendicular. So I select that. I say this should be actually this should be somehow perpendicular to this one, which again you add this feature and it somehow fix the shape. So again, it shows how you could use these different items that you have in the constraint, and it looks constraint is not just for fully define the drawing. Somehow it is some tools that help you to make more to able to design more complex design with more simple way. These are the tools to make or help you to actually have your drawing in much simple way. So let's see what else actually left here. Let's actually try another example for horizontal and also vertical. So let I go back. So have two lines. So one of them is close to the horizontal and another one it's going to be close to the vertical. So now let I just use these constraint and horizontal vertical. So see, this is most close to the horizontal because this is just one option, right? Horizontal is actually slash vertical. So if this is more close to horizontal, if you put that here, it goes convert to the horizontal. You see these icon, and this is more close to the vertical. It should be changed that to the vertical. So, and you see these two symbol, which is the symbol for horizontal and vertical. So somehow you add these two constraint into these line that you have. So I add actually the constraint, but it's not fully constraint because you don't know the dimension, right? You should actually add the dimension too, that it should be fully constraint. So, but at least these are the tools that help you to make that constraint. So let's to see what else we could do. So we could actually somehow have another example. Let's to keep these two line without the constraint. Let's to add the two more. Maybe this is the other line and maybe one more line here. Let's to say between these two. So now let's to use the practice somehow what we already know. Let's to do horizontal and vertical. So fix this and also fix this and also fix this. Now comes here, use the coincident. So you say coincident this point with this point, coincident this point with this point, and coincident this point with this point, and also coincident this point with this point. As you could see, we actually back to the, you could able to make the rectangle, which is you have at least four constraint features. But it still is not fully constrained because you should add the dimension. and also you need to somehow be clear about the position to let to do that, let to make this fully constrained. So as I mentioned, the position is one problem. Let to fix that here. So I comes here and say coincident. Now I say coincident this with the origin because the origin is already defined. So that means it should be fix one problem. So it's still we fix the position problem, but it's not fully constrained because of these dimension. Let to add the dimension here. If you go create sketch dimension, you could somehow add the dimension and sees it help to be have full constraint. So I am good with that. Do the same thing for a height. Sketch dimension, I'm coming here and also click here. This is another um, height for this. You enter and another enter. So as you can see now, it's fully constrained. So that means it is locked, it's changed to the black. So that means these tools that you have constrained, you could actually add some constraint feature, but this should be actually fully constrained if you want to be have these lock and also change the black, which you should do that because your sketch should be fully constrained before you move from 2D to the three-dimensional. So that's actually another example that shows how you could use these coincident, horizontal, and vertical. So let to actually see what else we could do here. So let to have another example for coincident. So let to back here and this time do one more. So let to see what we could do. So let to actually have, okay, let to actually keep, yeah, I wish I keep that fully constant. Okay, this one. Let to keep this and now add just the line here. So I add the line here and now let to use the same feature. You could actually coincident these line, which is these point of line with these whole line. Let to do that and see what's happened. So this is what happened. It is actually somehow now is the coincident between the line and this line of the rectangle. So if you want to somehow see what exactly happened, so see if I move this all the time, it is coincident to that point. Even if you actually go anywhere else to try to move this all the time, it is actually somehow is a coincident between this point and this line that you have. So another example that shows how you could use these useful constraint link that you have here on the top. So let I go back and somehow see if you could have another example to use the other items that you have. Let's do actually the tangent and see how you could use that. So if I have a circle here, let's have a circle, then I have one line here, maybe this line, and see how we could use these tangent. So instead you see if you even have a doubt, it's give you a good comment whenever put your mouse there. So see said is a constraint, a curve and another object so that they touch at a single point but never cross each other. So which is give you idea about what it is. So if I say tangent between this and this, oh I think let us see what probably I should actually do something else. Let I go back and somehow my line should be probably should be somehow touch this. Let to do this. And now let to say the same thing. I want to tangent this one between and this one. So see it's working. So which is shows you another example, which is it is the somehow tangent on this one that you see. So that actually is the other example for that. So I could make a few more example here. I actually have these line let to comes here for 60 millimeter and enter. Yeah, okay, so that's fully constrained, that's good. So let to do the same for the other side. So it should be click on the origin and comes to 80 and enter. So that's actually is fully constrained. So I just changed to the construction line. So the both of them. So now we are good. Still I'm on the constraint, fully constrained. So now let to actually do the circle. If I click on this and click on not 60, maybe 40 and enter, still I'm fully constrained. Let to have the other one here and this one should be, I don't know, 120 and say enter. So see, I'm fully constrained. So one of the key point here, whenever you design, because in each step your design going to be more complex, and in each step make sure your design is the constraint. So let to make a line, so not this line, this one, let to I somehow click one line here, the other one is here, the one line here somehow touch the circle and the other one here, then we escape it. So now let to use these tangent. So somehow another example how you could use these tangent constraint. I click on that, I say this will be tangent with this, which is fixed that. So this will be tangent with this to see how it's make that more smooth. So now this tangent with this much nicer, and then this should be tangent with this one. So see now I'm fully constrained. I actually use these constraint items here and my design is fully constrained. So now if you say finish the sketch and comes here and select all these surface, keep the shift down and click these surface, and now comes here and say extrude. So you extrude this to any height that you want and you say okay, and see how nice design you get with just using the constraint features that you have. You could easily design with using these constraint feature. If you want to do that everything yourself without that features, it should be really actually tough. You do everything yourself. So which just tells us again, I repeat that the being constrained or fully constrained is not just meaning your design is fully defined from the size and position, and also they are useful tools that you help you to design and draw the complex things with much easier way. So that's actually what we saw for a tangent. That was another example. Let's see if I could go back and probably have or test few other features that we have there. Let I go all the way down and see what else left that we didn't talk about it. So let's say go one back. Okay, I'm good. So we have the equal. Let's to just actually try the equal. So let's to have two lines. So this is the first line. So I give just maybe the dimension 50 and say enter. Let to take this a little down. Then you have another one which I'm not giving any dimension to that. So this is the second line. Now let to use this. You say equal this one to this one. So see, it somehow make these equal and just choose whatever the constraint or the dimension that you had before. So that's actually is the one example that you could use for constraint. Sorry, for constraint and the equal items that you have here. So I could actually have two more example here. Let's to use the rectangles. So suppose you have these rectangle here and you have another one here. So, and let to escape this. And now somehow you want to make these two same. So you actually comes here, say equal. You say this one is equal to this. So see, let's make that small or same size with this. Then you say equal, you wanna this one, or the second one will be the first with the second one that you have. The see this now, let's make these two equal. So now these two is equal, which again it shows the other example that you could actually have. So we already talked about the horizontal. Let's see what we left. We talk about did we talk about the parallel? So let to actually have that simple. I let to go back and somehow do the parallel and also let to have with the line. So the best actually the most easier thing is just have two line here and somehow test few of them which we didn't actually use. Let to say parallel. So you actually comes here, say I want to parallel this one with this one. It's actually turned to the parallel. Whenever it's parallel, definitely they just make this loop same, right? So then if you go back to the same thing and this time come and say perpendicular this with this one, it's actually make that perpendicular and still you see these constraint symbol that you have for the perpendicular. So that's actually the other items that you have there. Let to actually take a look and see what else left here. We had the example for this. We had example for this tangent, equal, parallel, um, perpendicular. So these actually fix unfix is more actually advanced concept. So I recommend that don't use that because it's really uh, tough to understand that it somehow make a big mess on your design. So the midpoint is the other one, which is very useful. Let to just take a look to the midpoint and have one example for midpoint. So suppose you have these rectangle here. So then you have the actually the circuit, sorry, the circle here. So now I wanted to somehow put the center of this to the middle of these rectangle. That means for these lengths exactly in the middle of that. So definitely you could measure it. So we could do with your eyes, which is very tough. But here you have a one constraint, which easily you could do that. So you say midpoint. So again, it says select sketch object or change constraint tab. You say I wanna center this to here. So as you could see, it's actually jump here, and this is again the sample for the midpoint. Somehow it's put that point in the middle of these lengths that you see here. So that's actually, as I said, is another useful constraint that you have and you could use here. So let's to check the other one. The other one is actually concentric. So let's to have one example for that. If you have the one circle like this, and also you have another one here. So let to you how you could use these features. You say concentric, you say somehow it says select the object, you want to somehow put this and this in the same origin or in the center of each other. So you click the next one, somehow it's actually bring this big one inside these small ones. So that means if you want to somehow have these two have the same center, definitely these concentric is a nice constraint to use. So let to see what else left is a collinear. Let to see what's the collinear means. So let to have one example. So if I have one line like this and I have another line like this, so now I want to use that constraint. I say collinear this line with this line. So see, as you could see, they actually put in the somehow they make in same line or they collinear these two. So still you could somehow move and see what's the feature. I could move everywhere, but they are actually collinear. They are somehow in the same linear direction that you have, and this is the symbol for that constraint. So this is actually the other example. Let to actually see what left here in the constraint list. So if I go back and the next one is the symmetry. Let to do actually some example for a symmetry. So let to have this small circle here and also another one here. And now let to use the symmetry. I'm calling here and say symmetry. Let to see what it says. It says select the sketch. I want to be symmetry between. Select the second sketch. This is the second one. And then say select the symmetry line. So I'm going to pick this line. As you could see, it's actually symmetry this and also match their size, which is very useful features in more complex design. And the cool thing is come here and say edit. So let us see, could we edit it? Maybe, yeah, we should just click on this. Then you say cancel, extrude. Let us see, yeah, the sketch dimension. Yeah, if I comes and change these dimension to, I don't know, let us say 30 maybe, and say 30, say enter. So see, I'm changing one of them, so the other one is also changed. So this is actually the right design. So that means your model should be able to rescale and change the size. Whenever you change the size or rescale that, the model shouldn't be break down, because if you break down, it's not going to work. Whenever you design the model, in most of the time you see one dimension not working, you need to go and change the dimension. So if you change the dimension, if you use the constraint in the right way, everything actually rescale based off that change that you have, and your model is not going to break down. So that actually is the other features that you see here. And let's to see what else left. So yet to see the last one, which is the curvature. Let to see what it is and how you could use that. So let to actually have one example for that. So let to actually have that two circles again. So this time I just put them a little down, use these um, spline, and I actually have one here and one here and center. So let to do again for this. I want to have here and here. I push the enter, so it actually put the line there. So now let to actually use these curvatures. So I use these curvatures, say this with this, make that much nicer. This with this, much better. So this with this, and also this circuit with this line. So as you can see, it's actually make us more nice design, and you um, easily able to use it. So that actually is the other features that you able to use. So even if you say finish a sketch and back here to the home, you could see how nice design you could get with this. So now I'm actually extrude and say, okay, see what we get. So easily with using that features, you could actually able to have very smooth and nice design there. So just be careful. These last features that I actually back here to the sketch level and somehow let to do undo. So take them down. Yeah, so these curvature somehow is not same with the tangent, because tangent somehow comes the line straight out of the circle, but these curvature somehow makes that or fit or make the beautiful curve between these two. In the tangent, it just past that there is no curve, but this one is actually make actually the curve, a nice curve between these two. So this is actually the whole constraint that you have here. So if we want to summarize it, so we learn in this video, so making the fully constraint is not just completely define the size and position of the drawing. So these are the tools that actually somehow help us to design, have more complex design in much simple way with using these constraints, and also they help us to have more solid model. So the solid model is the model that if you change one size and the other size automatically change, not if you change one dimension in the one part somehow broke down your model. So in next video, I'm going to have few examples that shows how you could actually use these constraints in your design. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you for watching this video.